So today I have a global citizen with us who loves to travel. He has traveled to several different countries, has lived in 5 different countries across 3 different continents. So he can definitely offer his global perspective when it comes to global hiring, which a lot of companies are into these days, specifically because the pandemic allowed us to hire people all over the world. But other than that, at heart, he is an engineer who is interested in building things because he understands how different parts of the puzzle go together and creates a product that is much more complex than its counterparts. Let's welcome Karthik on 10 Minutes of Hiding Wisdom, where he will tell us about his experience living in so many different countries, what he has learned, and how he can apply that knowledge to global hiring. Hi, Karthik. How are you doing today?
Hey Minal, thank you for the opportunity, and yeah, that's a great intro that you just gave.
Of
I didn't
course.
know about that about myself, but
So, Karthik, can you tell us about where you've lived, why you've traveled? Like, was it family? Was it just because you're interested in traveling?
right. No, I think the travel bug bit me when my parents started taking me out on these annual vacations. Be it I grew up in India, born and brought up in India, so traveled all over India every year during the summer vacation, and started slowly start traveling internationally as well. So that kind of intrigued me always. I mean, learning about new cultures, meeting new people, etc. At 17, I got the opportunity to do my engineering, in Dubai. So went all the way, left my family at 17, went to a different country, started, went for my engineering degree there. And during that time, got the opportunity to do some internships abroad, like in London, and then got a job, in the energy industry, and that job took me to a lot of different countries, and then came to the US for a masters. And I think at the end of the day, I think to sum it all up, it was kind of somewhere in the 40 something different countries that I traveled, with be it vacation or work or education, etc. So all of these life just took me to a lot of different countries. But what I like about it, it's really the people. I think especially for people, trying to become a people manager or leading organizations, etc. You gotta love people, and gotta love to build relationships with people. It's not about being a master or having a long checklist of things, and this is what we gotta do. This is what the team needs to. You need to know your people first, and connect with them. And for that connection to happen, you need to have a broad mind, like accepting of different cultures, different people, different. Everybody is different. I think embracing that was probably one of the biggest lessons that I've learned. That oh yeah, there is another way to do solve a problem. Where there is for people wear a different attire than what it is in my country. So it's just a mix. It's an open mindedness that gives you when you travel.
That definitely makes sense because I think so many of us, when we actually go abroad to work or even study, we come across different cultures, different religions. And that's when you have to realize that, okay, I might have a different opinion from other people, but that's okay because that showcases my personality. But it's how those differences can coexist, where you can put your similarities together to learn something about each other, is something where most of the learning happens. So thank you for sharing that, Karthik. And you mentioned that, Karthik, you worked for an energy company. So now you're working for a tech company. How did the transition happen? How and why?
Yeah. So I started my career as an engineer, like started working at Honeywell. That was my first code engineering organization. Then went into Penn where I was building these oil and gas pipelines, deep undersea pipelines, cross country pipelines, etc. Yeah, that was all exciting. Learned a lot of core technical development there, which still is my foundation for my knowledge. But then I thought, yeah, exploring new technologies, working on them is fine, but how do we build businesses out of new technologies? Right? You want to scale those things when you come up with something new. That's kind of what drove me to this, gave me this passion towards innovation, and that with that went into my business degree, and during that time, me along with a few other friends, we formed a company called Higher Learning Technologies, which was my first venture into entrepreneurship. And that was a mobile first education company. And that's how I even got into the edtech space. So by the time I graduated, we were the company at scale. We raised some good funding. spent about another 3 or 4 years in the company, scaling the company. So I think because I forayed into entrepreneurship and edtech in one go at the same time, different industry, different experience. That kind of stuck with me. People, I think the bigger companies like entrepreneurs. With especially in edtech, I guess, and they so yeah, been a lot of opportunities coming in my way. In fact, I even tried changing my industry to another industry, but I think the industry just pulls me back into this. Yeah,
I
yeah,
love the
it's
risk taking. I
yeah,
love it.
but at the end of the day, when you have a strong technical background, it doesn't matter which industry you're a part of. It's all more about where your interests and your are you like, did you want to make a change in the world, and education is a great place to be, to find mission driven companies.
That's very true. I think every company, every industry has some problem to solve. So if you have the basic skills, if you have the required knowledge, you're going to be called on to solve the problem. So, and I'm pretty sure considering you started your own company, you work with a lot of top companies, you're working with one of the top edtech companies, you definitely do have the skills which it takes to solve amazing problems. So thank you. But Karthik, one of the questions that I have for you is, you're working with Udemy. Can you maybe tell us about the culture working there? What have you learned? How has your experience been so far?
Sure. Yeah. So it's been about 2 months since I joined Udemy. So I think so far it's been a great run at Udemy. It's a very people driven organization. People and mission driven organization. I think they especially at Udemy, I think I can tell you that they really treat employees, as they're special, and that's how I felt when I was interviewing at Udemy. Because, like I said, I was trying to change my industry, and I got another offer in another industry. And I think the way the Udemy's HR really handled the situation was terrific. Making you feel at home, someone is really valuing your skills and what you bring to the table. I think those connotations really help. I think that really was a game changer of choosing, okay, this or that. And I think that's where Udemy, the, the people really helped me make that decision there. But
Okay.
otherwise, I think the mission is definitely a very strong democratization of education at a global level, at scale, is it's very unique. You know, not many companies have been successful in the edtech sector, especially in the edtech
That's
sector.
very true.
I think Udemy has done
That's
that in a span of 10 years, so which is really great.
That's amazing. And I think the pandemic definitely shifted the way online education works. So I think Udemy was definitely 10 years ahead of before the pandemic, because it definitely knew how and why people would be attracted to such a platform in the first place. Karthik, my last question would be, is Udemy hiring? What kind of positions are open, and what kind of people are more likely to be a part of this company and succeed?
Yeah, sure. We are on a big hiring spree. I think you must have seen some articles out there, but also on the career website. We at the moment have about 300 open positions. So we are having a voracious appetite to grow. We really want more, technical roles to be filled in: engineers, data scientists, product managers, or even at the end of the day, like I said, Udemy values people. If you are someone, even if the role doesn't exist, and you are someone with good skill sets in you know engineering, products, communications, etc., I think you should just talk to us. Someone somewhere is definitely looking to fill for you up with fill their team with someone like you, if you feel fit that criteria of exceptional skills. So yeah, we're always looking for good talent. But yeah, if you want a priority list of what we're looking for the most: data scientists, front end, back end engineers, mobile engineers, because that's very specific to my team, product managers, in the order of priority. So, yeah.
Okay, wow. So if you're into ed tech, if you want to work under Karthik or with Karthik specifically, this might be a good opportunity for you. But Karthik, thank you so much for coming on the show, for sharing about your global perspective, how much you've traveled, and just like your transition to different fields amazes me, and how well you adapted to it. But thank you so much, and thank you so much for sharing your wonderful insights.
Yep. Thank you so much, Manal.